Guys, it's Dave in real life and welcome to this return back to retro reviews, and today we are looking at Wrestlemania 7, which to be honest is a personal favourite of mine, as it was the first Wrestlemania I saw as a child. I would go on to see like Wrestlemania 3 and the famous Wrestlemania 6, the Ultimate Warrior versus Hogan, but this was the one that I started with. It was at the end of 1990 where I got into WWE, so this was 91. So yeah, let's do this review. There was a dark match on this pay-per-view which saw Koko B. Ware versus Brooklyn Brawler, which Koko won. To clarify where this was from, it was filmed on March 24th, 1991. It was in the city of Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena. The attendance was 16,158 and it was taglined "The Super Stars and Stripes Forever." Yeah, there was a big, massive US like theme to this Wrestlemania, as it was just around about the time of the Gulf War. And yeah, pretty much this was WWE and America just showing that they were not going to be a pushover, and that was a big story of this pay-per-view. So other than the dark match that I just mentioned, Willie Nelson kicks off the show with the traditional anthem. And then we got Hacksaw Jim Duggan coming down wearing an Uncle Sam costume, which was hilarious. He would go on to join the commentary team, which was Gorilla Monsoon, as the opening match would see the other colour commentator, Bobby the Brain Heenan, managing Haku and Barbarian against the high-flying, most exciting tag team at this time in the WWF, and that was the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Yeah, the really young Shawn Michaels in this opening match. Yeah, it was just that. It was high octane, get the crowd up on the feet, get the blood boiling kind of matchup. Yeah, which the babyface team won. Rockers won fairly easily against the team of Barbarian and Haku. Bobby Heenan was the manager. Like I say, would then go back into the commentary position with Gorilla Monsoon. So yeah, that was the opening match. Nothing too much to talk about. Then we get to the second match on the card, which was Texas Tornado versus Dino Bravo, with Jimmy Hart as Dino Bravo's manager, kind of sensing a kind of theme around this time in wrestling. Yeah, this was pretty much a squash match. It lasted about 3 minutes, and yeah, Texas Tornado won. Getting groomed for an IC title match against, I believe, Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam. Next up, and yet another, so far in this pay-per-view, none of the heels have had entrance music or an entrance. They've always been waiting in the ring. For the babyface, I mean, we had a promo cut at the back with Davey Boy Smith, who is facing the Warlord in our third matchup. Warlord managed by the Doctor of Style, Slick. Wow, what times this was. So 3 matches in, and we've had 3 different managers: Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Hart, and the Slick. What a time in wrestling. British Bulldog at this time, well, we did a review on this channel of him with Matilda, but his Bulldog at this point was Winston. Yeah, Winston, it wasn't Matilda. And at this point he was hailing from Leeds, not Manchester, as he would be known in the future. Also explained in that figure review video. Davey Boy Smith won by powering out of the full Nelson, which at this point was the Warlord's finishing move. Nobody would break the full Nelson, which would go on to be like the story of the Master Lock with Chris Masters, and obviously now Bobby Lashley using the same finisher. Yeah, it was pretty good match. The Davey Boy, to say he was English, got over with this red hot American crowd, so that was good to see. We then go to our first tag team match, a second tag team match, sorry, and the first team, heel team, to get an actual entrance, and that was the Nasty Boys. Yeah, managed by Jimmy Hart. Yeah, Jimmy Hart again, managing yet another team. Yeah, this way the Hart Foundation were the tag team champions going into this match. But sadly, this match would end up with the Nasty Boys cheating their way to victory by using the biker helmet which Jimmy Hart had in his possession. Yeah, this would be a downer for all the Hart Foundation fans, but in retrospect, this was the last time Jim Neidhart would be as part of the tag team anyway, with Bret the Hitman Hart, as Bret the Hitman Hart himself was broomed for a singles push shortly after this. So yeah, this had massive implications on the tag team division, as the Hart Foundation would split up shortly after. We go on to the first gimmick match, and I love the build to this match. I can't lie, I mean, it's so synonymous with 90s wrestling, and it was the feud between Jake the Snake Roberts and Rick the Model Martel. Yeah, an infamous blindfold match. Anybody who doesn't know what a blindfold match is, well, it pretty much speaks for itself. They get blindfolded, the first one, to get to the other guy and get the pinfall wins. This requires a hell of a lot of help from the crowd being involved to be able to help the wrestler find the other wrestler. Totally gimmicked, like I say. Both wrestlers did play this really well, as they clearly could see each other. I think Rick Martel's selling was pretty impressive in this match. Yeah, totally enjoyable, and such the time when wrestling was pretty much gimmick based. We go on then to our next match, and yeah, this is historic. Who would have thought that this match was going to be the starting point of an amazing winning streak at Wrestlemania? Yeah, this one saw the Undertaker with the manager Paul Bearer versus Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Yes, this was the Undertaker's debut Mania match, and the one that kick-started that amazing streak. Yeah, who'd have thought that watching this match back in the day would lead to something as epic as that streak became. Yeah, it's just amazing looking back. This was pretty much a squash match. Although, saying a squash match, Jimmy Snuka as a bona fide legend, even at this point of his career. So this was an absolutely massive victory for the Undertaker character. We go on to what is my favourite match of WrestleMania history, if I'm being honest, and it's the Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Macho King Savage in a retirement match. Legitimately, Randy Savage had just come back from major surgery and was looking to retire from wrestling for real. So this was an ideal kind of matchup for him. Love the story that they played out. I mean, a feud which pretty much started before the Royal Rumble. And obviously during that Royal Rumble in 91, Randy Savage will cost the Ultimate Warrior his WWF title to Sergeant Slaughter, which would lead to that match later on in the card between Slaughter and Hogan. Yeah, Sensational Queen Sherry is the manager at this point of Randy King Savage. Pointed out in the crowd was Miss Elizabeth. Yeah, Miss Elizabeth had been missing off the TV for a while, and now was just happened to be in the crowd and spotted by Bobby Heenan before this match started. Obviously, that was like a foreshadowing to what would come at the end of this match. This was a Titanic match, in all fairness. Randy Savage did his utmost to make Ultimate Warrior look $1 million, and he did. Ultimate Warrior actually looked capable of putting on a really decent wrestling match. The storytelling, like I said, was really good during this match, and you could really see the momentum switching between both wrestlers. I think how many elbow drops did the Ultimate Warrior take off of Randy Savage? Anybody else would have crumbled at that point or would have lost. There was a moment in the match where the Ultimate Warrior almost walked away from ringside, almost giving up. But yeah, he soon got dragged back in when Sensational Queen Sherry had got involved in the matchup. Endless back and forths. The moment that near the end of the match where Ultimate Warrior would try to get his patented finisher on Savage, but Savage kept falling out of the ring, delaying the finish. But eventually, yeah, the Ultimate Warrior won, and Randy Savage would be retired from wrestling. Well, short-lived retirement, I might say. Yeah, the end of the match, Sherry, who just lost a meal ticket, decided to attack Savage, which then would prompt Miss Elizabeth to jump over the railings into the ring. Under no circumstances should that be allowed in WWE, but because it's Miss Elizabeth and it's storytelling, it's totally allowed. Any other time she would have probably got brayed up by whichever superstar was in the ring. So yeah, she then throws Sherry out of the ring. Macho Man is confused because obviously he's been hit by Sherry that many times that he's a little bit dazed and confused. Thinks that it was Miss Elizabeth for a short time, but the fans managed to rally around to convince Randy that it was Sherry all along. Realising that Miss Elizabeth had come to save him, they reunited in the ring. And honestly, a young Dave in real life bawled his little eyes out. I did probably shed a tear. But not as much as Macaulay Culkin or the bloody woman with the face. If you saw the footage, oh my God, women were blubbering in the aisles. Yeah, I mean, this is why I love this. It is just great storytelling, and sadly is missing a lot of the time in wrestling today. Yeah, we've got the Roman Reigns stuff right now, which is really good storytelling, and to a degree, the Bray Funhouse Bray segments from 2019 were really good. Sadly, it's kind of declined a little bit now, but you know, it's still got the fans. Yeah, that was that is literally the match of the show for me, and why I've spent so long talking about it. But we did go on to another tag team match straight away after that, and it saw Tenryu and Kitao taking on Demolition. Fun fact, Demolition, this was their last ever match, and Gorilla Monsoon, a commentary botch. He said that it was Axe and Smash. It's clearly Crush and Smash. Crush would go on to become Kona Crush, Shaka Bra, and obviously Smash, as we all know, would become the Repo Man. One of my favourite characters. Yeah, Tenryu and Kitao won this match. Don't really know why the Japanese stars got over the Demolition, but I think this was just that Demolition were on their way out. Demolition was managed by Mr. Fuji. We go on to an IC title match now with Big Boss Man taking on Mr. Perfect, managed by Bobby Heenan. So far, we have had one match where there was no manager, and that was the Jake Roberts-Rick Martel match. Every other match, there's been a manager involved. Quite scary. Imagine that now. Yeah, but back in the 90s, yeah, managers everywhere. So yeah, this was a DQ finish. At this particular time, Big Boss Man was fighting through the Heenan family, taking out Haku, Barbarian. I think he beat Barbarian at that year's Royal Rumble. He now got to the main event of that little feud, which was Mr. Perfect. Andre the Giant would come down to the ring and get involved in this match, making his last ever appearance on WWF television before his sad passing. To attack Heenan. He also almost cost Mr. Perfect the title by hitting him with the championship belt behind the referee's back. Sadly, this did go down, like I said, as a DQ finish, as Haku and Barbarian ran into the ring to beat up Boss Man. So that match ended up with a DQ finish, Mr. Perfect retaining his title. We go on to quite literally the next match, which was a squash match. Greg the Hammer Valentine versus the Earthquake. And yeah, I think there was only one winner, and a massive squash at that. Was Earthquake, as managed by Jimmy, Mouth of the South Art. Literally their paycheck at the end of this pay-per-view must be massive. Yeah, Earthquake won quite convincingly. The next match, even more of a squash match. I don't know why this was, but it was LOD, the Legion of Doom, taking on Power and Glory. This match lasted literally seconds. LOD rushed the ring, were blindsided to a degree, got the upper arm. Paul Roma got hoisted up into the Doomsday device. 1, 2, 3, job done. Power and Glory was pretty decent tag team at this point as well. But LOD was just so over and was very much thrown straight into the title picture straight after that matchup. We'll go on to a biggest feud of 91. And yeah, a continued story from the 1991 Royal Rumble, which would see the manservant Virgil taking on the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. Virgil would have Rowdy Roddy Piper in his corner, yet another manager. This was just full of interference, especially from the Rowdy one, who would inadvertently try and attack DiBiase at every opportunity with his walking stick. Well, not walking stick, his crutch. Did end up with Sherry Martel running down to ringside, looking for her next meal ticket, which would be the $1 Million Man going forward. This ended up being a count out. And whereas Rowdy Piper had been the spokesperson or the cheerleader of Virgil, it ended up being Virgil who was the cheerleader by the end of this match, willing Rowdy Roddy Piper up off the floor. Great bit of selling by Piper, who made his injury look 10 times worse than what it was. But yeah, this match was just good, awesome fun. But sadly, Virgil didn't quite get the job done against the $1 Million Man. Technically, he won by the count out, but it's not the victory he wanted. Go on to the second to last match. This is your co-main event. I don't know quite how WWE or WWF at this time could quite figure this one out. But yes, we had the Mountie versus Tito Santana. Mountie managed by Jimmy Hart. Yes, squash match again. This was, I think, Mountie's debut at Wrestlemania. So a nice little victory over Tito Santana was pretty much on the cards. But now we go on to the main event, the match that well sold the pay-per-view basically. And it was Hulk Hogan taking on the defending champion Sergeant Slaughter. Not really into politics or this kind of stuff. This match really only exists because of the Gulf War. Fun fact about this, that tugboat was going to be the Iraqi nemesis at one point. Yeah, Sheik tugboat was muttered before Sergeant Slaughter became the character that they went ahead with. Imagine that world where tugboat was the villain. But it went to Sergeant Slaughter, which made perfect sense. Yeah, this was, you could tell the result before this even started, that America was always going to win. The entire pay-per-view was basically based around the America. There's American flags absolutely everywhere around the arena. There was no way Hulk Hogan was going to lose. So yeah, this match did have some hijinks. There was interference by Colonel Mustafa and General Adnod. Colonel Mustafa obviously was the Iron Sheik. Yeah, Jabroni. Yes, Sergeant Slaughter did eventually lose. Hulk Hogan won. A very bloody Hulk Hogan won, as you can tell by the final image. Yeah, and your new WWF champion is Hulk Hogan yet again. America wins. Which, yeah, this, like I said, was the theme of the entire show, if I'm being honest. Yeah, when I looked back at this, I always remember it as my first WrestleMania, obviously. But yeah, seeing it back, it's amazing how many really squash matches, non-event matches were actually on this card. Pretty much a disappointing one was, like, I wanted to see more of LOD, and that just lasted seconds. Obviously we had debuts at Mania for like the Undertaker and the Mountie, Earthquake as well. Yes, there's a lot of squash matches in this, which really diminishes the overall score. So I am going to rate this pay-per-view as a 7. It's an average pay-per-view at best. I would love to score it higher, but with the squash matches, that really ranks it low. I really give it 7 just for that Ultimate Warrior Savage match, if I'm being honest. It's just because I love that match so much. So yeah, okay. Let me know what you thought of this pay-per-view. Put your score in the comments below. What match was your favourite from it? Or have you not seen this pay-per-view? Will you go and check it out? Let me know if this has whet your appetite for it. Anyway, I've been Dave in real life. Please like, comment, subscribe if you're new, because it really helps me out. And for more content like this, which there's going to be more reviews in the future for sure. So I've been Dave in real life. Thank you for watching. You've been awesome. And remember to always keep it real. Until the next time. Bye for now.